Thank you very much. We're done with the 5 digital companies. We move into the content. Jim, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for the opportunity to be here and participate in this amazing conference. As film and television producers at Paramount, we share the desire to address the issues so well articulated by His Holiness this morning. They're issues that bind us together as communities and societies around the world of protecting the morality and safety of our youth. This important symposium serves as a catalyst for sharing our strategies and providing protections and the ultimate goal of implementing universal protocols that transcend borders and cultures. As His Holiness noted, the most important role, and it's been discussed earlier today, is that of parents as gatekeepers. As with all aspects of nurturing and protecting our children, the ultimate responsibility rests with us as parents. It begins with imparting values of decency, ethics, and good citizenship. It also means being mindful of what content we feel appropriate to our children's age and level of development, both in monitoring their consumption and using resources such as common sense media and other sites that provide information about content in advance of viewing. At the end of the day, no broadly implemented policies can serve as a better defense of our children than the alertness and individualized attention of parents. Having said that, as he also noted, the everyday reality of our world is that parents simply cannot be omnipresent and monitor what their children are doing online, particularly as the digital landscape is evolving at such a rapid pace. There are nevertheless a number of steps that are currently in place and new ones being implemented that can meaningfully advance protections. It's incumbent upon our industry to assume responsibility and provide additional capabilities in a world where exposure to technology comes at a younger and younger age. With greater access to and the ubiquity of technology comes a greater responsibility to share in this moral and ethical obligation to our youth, and it's clear that all of us here share that concern, and I appreciate the efforts described by my fellow speakers in this regard. As His Holiness also said so well, the digital age has provided us exponentially more entertainment options than at any time in history. However, with this uptick in consumer choice and access comes greater risk of youth exposure to potentially inappropriate content. In response to these increasing vulnerabilities, a number of protections have been implemented to better filter what our children can view, and you heard some of that. In the U.S., the Motion Picture Association has long implemented a film rating system by which parents and caregivers can assess the suitability of a film for young audiences, and similar rating systems exist throughout the world. They provided an easily navigated and concise blueprint for guiding parents with respect to what films are best suited to their children. This has also been extended to the home as well. Since 2000, all TVs sold in the U.S., Canada, and Brazil are required to be V-chip compliant, so parents can control the type of content that their kids can watch, and inappropriate conduct is blocked. Copyright enforcement efforts by content owners against pirate platforms have a positive collateral impact on parents' ability to control what their children see online. Pirate platforms do not adhere to rating systems, as legitimate companies do, and often have children's content alongside very inappropriate content. Working with our partners on the technology sector to monitor piracy will also limit access to inappropriate content. We'll continue to explore these options. Nevertheless, protections in the digital area are still catching up with the available technology, and the nature of the internet limits the efficacy of even the best intended parental control software. A next good step would be to strongly encourage device manufacturers, digital platforms, search engines, and you've heard some of that this afternoon, to add better controls that enable parents to limit mobile devices and computers to accessing only approved sites and apps while blocking all others. The technology exists in related areas and is continuing to be implemented. For example, airlines block access via their in-flight Wi-Fi systems to pornographic content for the comfort of their fellow passengers. And with this in mind, applying this technology more ubiquitously is a matter of prioritizing and encouraging our digital stakeholders to normalize the implementation of these technologies across more devices and platforms. In the end, however, technological applications will always have limitations. Progress on this crucial challenge will require an ongoing partnership of content creators, distribution platforms, device manufacturers, which is why a dialogue like this is so important. And it's also promising that governments are beginning to see the need for fostering platform responsibility for safeguarding children online. In the UK, the government is proposing a new duty of care for online platforms with a direct focus on children and other vulnerable groups. Here in the EU, the European Commission has announced their focus on a Digital Services Act that will obligate online service providers to take an active role in blocking content inappropriate to children. These efforts underscore the need for all players in the digital area to do more to protect our children. We live in a world with increasingly more avenues for creative expression and entertainment consumption, but with these evolving options comes increasingly more responsibility to protect the most vulnerable members of our society, our children. I hope that today has served as a launching